She, 22F, cheated on me with her ex. I, 24M, forgave and then I cheated on her. Our background: I, 24M, work as a sales manager earning $60,000 and my GF, 22F, works as a GRO, high-end escort and social drinker, at a club. She took interest in me when I was still heartbroken by a girl I was chasing about 1 year plus ago. At first she wanted to just sleep with me, but I grew attached and she reluctantly let me in her life and after a while accepted me, but 5 to 6 months in, when I was visiting my parents out of state, she called her ex to come over and stay the night. She grew up sexually abused by her stepfather and she doesn't have any family since 18. Her ex kind of healed her and has a special place in her heart, but he kind of neglected her and didn't put in much effort. I, of course, was devastated. I found out because I suspected her behavior growing distant and went through her text messages. We went to a friend's event together and when her ex came, she went down to pick him up. But with me, she can't show affection because her customers might notice. After that we went back and I confronted her and she said, "I am like this, what are you gonna do?" So I left her. She called me back after a few days and I was soft and forgave her and let her in. Besides the fact that we can't openly declare our relationship, whenever I come home from work, she doesn't smile because she is focused on doing her makeup for work and she tends to be always late and gets mad. The daily routine is, I come home, help pack her bags for her work, help pick out her clothes, help her get food, help her get a cab, help her do her hair and wear her clothes and necklace. After she goes to work, I clean up the house and do chores. And when she gets home, she wakes me up to help her remove makeup and accompany her while she showers. I work 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and she works 9 p.m. to 2 a.m., more often than not 3 p.m. When I didn't pick up the call when she is on the way home, she gets mad. Sometimes when she is drunk, she gets mad. When I am sleepy because I lack sleep, she gets mad. When I leave her to do my own thing, she gets mad. She verbally abuses me and hits me. I spend so much money on her that I am in debt. But she also spends just as much if not more, because she earns $20,000 to $30,000 a month. She sometimes sleeps with her clients. I knew from the start, but I insisted I am fine with it, but I obviously can't handle it. We go to clubs and events together often, but she never stays by my side because technically she is supposed to be single because of her job, but she always talks to another guy who is her friend or whatever, and even a few previous FWBs. I felt invisible. We went to Thailand a few months back, during my birthday month for a music festival, and I booked a nice dinner for her. On the first day, she wanted to smoke weed, so I hit up a friend who hooked me up with free joints. We went over and she smoked. I don't drink alcohol, smoke, or even vape. I wore a mask, but it was still too much for me and I got a headache and started vomiting. So the entire trip I was in the hotel and we missed out on the dinner, prepaid, and she was mad at me while I was vomiting and sick. Basically, the entire relationship I felt unappreciated and felt like I wasn't cared for. Lack of enthusiasm and effort from her end. Yes, she brought me gifts like designer perfume and took me out to eat at Gordon Ramsay's restaurant during my birthday. And sex life was great, but I struggle with finishing, so it makes her mad. When she gets mad, she tells me to pack my things and fuck off, kicks me out like I am nothing. Even when I am trying to have a conversation and apologize, or the reason for her being mad is unreasonable at all, like me being sleepy. She tells me to pack my bags and fuck off a lot. I have to wake up 7:30 a.m. to go to work, come back, help her get ready, do the chores, then sleep and wake up at 3 to 4 a.m. when she gets home, stay with her and go back to sleep around 5 to 6 a.m. I am naturally gonna be sleepy and have less energy. And she gets mad at me. I want to use my weekends to finish my DJ course and meet up with people to sell insurance, but she always say I am leaving her and guilts me into staying home with her. I have huge dreams and I felt restrained. Here is my mistake: I start entertaining and texting other girls, sexually and casually. I am conventionally attractive, so girls hitting me up isn't unusual, but I typically just curve them easily because I am super loyal, but I felt too restricted and unappreciated that I decided to talk to them. I met up with some girls to talk and sell insurance, and when they flirted IRL it felt wrong and I stopped it. But it happened with many other women. In fact, when I go to clubs, I am also a club promoter. A lot of girls try to dance with me and flirty, and I avoided them usually, but recently I allowed it to happen. Last night she opened up my phone and went through all my texts, and well, her initial response was to laugh at how ridiculous it is and take screenshots to share in the girls' group chat. All of them are cheaters, grows, and people who sleep around. But after a while she started to break down and cried a lot. I told her that I shouldn't have done it and told her honestly why, and she said I am guilt-tripping her and she doesn't know what to do anymore. I still love her and asked for forgiveness, and I told her that I will do anything to build that trust back again. We have a trip together next week with a lot of mutual friends and some of the girls in the girl group chat. But part of me felt like I should leave this baggage. In face, part of me didn't feel anything. I was crying, but something in my head said, "Why are you crying? This is revenge, she didn't love you." I was diagnosed with dysthymia and antisocial personality disorder, asked when I went for therapy about my anger issues when I was 20, went for therapy every week and it made me soft. I used to be aggressive and have homicidal thoughts, I still do, but repressed. But when I was crying, I can still smile. It's like I can't feel anything and every action I make was on autopilot, like I am pretending to do what a normal person should do. TLDR, dated an escort, she cheated emotionally and physically, had her ex come over, I forgave, I felt restricted, unappreciated and abused, I cheated emotionally, texting. I still love her, but I am lost if I should just focus on myself or continue. I am aware that this sounds like a fantasy and is far-fetched, but I assure you this is true.
Confession 2. Cheating husband, our explicit convos with multiple females. 2 days ago, I discovered multiple sexually explicit conversations on my husband's phone with various women across different apps. He's always been extremely family-oriented, a practicing Muslim, and claimed he loved me deeply, so this was a complete shock. He had always been protective of his phone, and I trusted him completely, even letting him go on trips with friends. When I confronted him, he immediately denied everything, claiming his friend was behind the messages. Despite his insistence, I found deleted conversations where he had asked his friend to help him message women using his accounts. As I dug deeper, I found even more disturbing evidence, messages spanning years, including sexually explicit content from him and them, and interactions with women he'd been in contact with throughout our relationship. Some of these messages went back to significant moments in our marriage, like our wedding celebrations. It was clear that he had been hiding this for a long time. After going through everything, I messaged his friend and confronted him about what I had discovered. Meanwhile, my husband continued to gaslight me, trying to shift the blame onto me for not trusting him. I was numb, overwhelmed, and devastated by the betrayal. Eventually, I left in the middle of the night, taking a few bags and heading to my parents' house. He later sent me a message expressing regret, admitting he couldn't justify his actions but still claiming he never met anyone in person. He apologized and said I deserved better, but I was left feeling disgusted and heartbroken. I can't believe the man I married would do this. It's clear that there's something wrong, and I'm struggling to come to terms with how many women were involved. I'm now questioning everything, our relationship, his character, and my future. He's currently begging for forgiveness, saying he doesn't see a life without me, it will never happen again, and that I can have all access to his phone, etc. He has been living a double life all these time. I'm thinking lately that I was just a tool used to maintain the social perception while hiding the inner beast underneath. He married me just to carve out a hidden path to live his freedom, because otherwise, he is constrained by culture and religion. Could this be it? In all honesty, I think there's a possibility I can forgive him, unfortunately, but I want him to cry me a river, and I need to see what he is willing to do to get me back without me telling him. Right now I'm standing my ground and told him he will never get me back. I'm so confused and lost. IDK, what I need to see from him to be able to forgive him. Confused face. Any ideas? Personal experiences?
Confession 3. I was a horrible person as a teenager, and I don't know how to live with myself. Honestly, I was bad after that too. The gist of it is I was a very late bloomer, went to an all-boys school, and was incredibly insecure. I had some traumas related to that insecurity and some sexual trauma in my middle school years that I never realized had an impact on me until now. Essentially, when I was younger, some of my friends, and I think one of their older brothers, flashed me a few times. They were developing much quicker than me, and seeing proof of that made me feel like shit, honestly. On top of that, I got into porn at way too young of an age and got crazy with it. I used Omegle a ton to do sexual stuff with other guys around my age, and that set me up to see some truly awful shit. Like illegal stuff people were putting on there. I got so used to it I eventually started wanting to see it. This ended as I went off to college and I cut back on all that stuff, but I still had a bad porn sexting addiction that eventually led to me cheating in my relationship and chasing away someone who truly loved me. I just don't know how to live with myself. I'm in my mid-20s now, and while I would never dream to go back to how I was as a teen, I feel like I deserve to be labeled on my worst actions. People have their lives ruined for some of the things I used to do, and it just feels unfair that never was held responsible for my bad behavior. I'm a much different person now, but I can't stop thinking about how different my life would be if everyone knew everything I did. I have these horrible intrusive sexual thoughts all the time, and it's ruining my life, along with the constant feeling that I'm lying to everyone in my life by omission for not confessing all the screwed up things I've done in my life. I get everyone has secret skeletons in the closet, but mine just seems so much worse than everyone else's. IDK man. Just feels like my whole life is a lie. I've made charitable donations, gotten back to my religion, and started therapy, but I just feel stuck in my past. I know I have OCD and I'm seeing a psych soon to start medication, but I can't help but feel that no matter what good I do, I'm still going to be that person I used to be. I feel lost.